Hi, this is Jeff Lesher with What's the Point? And we are still within the throes of the coronavirus 2020 circumstance. Many of us working from a distance, something that some of us have been doing for a long time, but now is increasingly the norm. And it's emblematic of not that this crisis is good on any level, and because it exists, because it is, because whatever happens moving forward is going to be our next normal. We're not going back to the way things were. That's just not the way things work. As people and as business leaders, how can we learn from and even use this opportunity to be even better on the other side, which may be nonlinear, but as we eventually come out of this, how are we going to be prepared to be our very best? So let's be clear about a couple things. Number one, I'm not happy about this situation, didn't root for it, not glad that it's here, and it's really important that each of us continue to be smart for ourselves and smart for everybody around us by heeding the guidance that you all know by now, which is to maintain really good hygiene and also distance from one another until we are able to successfully flatten the curve and allow our healthcare system to care for the people at the pace that they're able to do so, so that we lose as few lives as possible. That is the most critical thing, to be safe and to stay healthy. Don't be foolish at this time. And as you maintain your health and you're working to maintain the health of your business and the impact that you create, look at this as a case study in your opportunity to be better moving forward. So, for example, as already referenced, working from a distance, that was going to be much more the norm anyway. And many organizations have laid the infrastructure to support this, so they've made this transition somewhat effectively, and it can become even more so. And there are all kinds of tips and techniques that we're offering as an organization for people to be highly effective working from a distance. And I use that term intentionally, by the way. I'm not a fan of the remote worker, because being remote is just kind of a negative. So we're working from different places at the same time and different places at different times. We're working at a distance, and we're still part of the same team. And oh, by the way, we were going to be doing this anyway. So this part we can just accelerate into the next normal. Here's another thing to think about. I used this idea in the late 2000s during the financial downturn, taking a look at the history of recessionary times leading to emergent behemoths in the commercial space, so that in the 1990s, Walmart emerged. In 2000, Google emerged. In the late aughts, there were a number of companies that began to percolate towards the surface that either did something better in the existing space or created a whole new marketplace. And this is the opportunity. And the analogy was, as a NASCAR fan, it's like when you're racing and there's an accident. So that would be the recession, and we're going to definitely enter a recession. So that's unfortunate. And can we use it to our benefit here? And so, given that, when there's an accident on the track, the yellow or caution flag comes out, and everybody has to slow down to a particular speed and stay in their respective position. Because there is less movement, it is the best time to take a pit, to bring your car in for service, and perhaps to invest a little bit more time to prepare the car to be the most effective for the longest period of time, racing, moving forward. And that's when the green flag returns. The green flag will inevitably come back to pass, and the issue that you have, the opportunity that you have, is, are you going to be prepared? Is your car, your business, going to be prepared to run the best for the longest based on what you choose to do now? So think about that, and then consider that although it's a Darwinian concept, it can apply here, which is that being successful is not as much about being the strongest or the fastest as it is being the most adaptive. So how can you evolve in order to take advantage of the opportunities that are going to present themselves or present themselves to an even greater degree moving forward. And here's the last thing, and test this, again, given the time in which you have the opportunity to do this, do things differently and see what happens. Like for me, I'm a creature of some habit, especially when it comes to my physical exercise regimen. I love to go to the gym. I've been going to the same gym for a couple years now, and I rotate between 3 or 4 things that I do over and over and over, and I like it. It's kind of restful, relaxing, whatever, and it's stayed. So now my gym's been closed for a week, and I've had to come up with new and different ways to challenge myself. And you know what? I'm able to do it. And you know what? It's kind of fun. And you know what? My body is telling me this is good because you're challenging yourself in different ways. So again, as a business, you have the opportunity to do this too. So I'm trying to be hopeful in a constructive way, positive in a way that's appropriate. And so I don't want you to mishear anything that I've said in terms of being glad that this virus is occurring, because I absolutely am not, nor should any of us be. And we live in the real world. This is part of our real world. And back to this idea of the next normal, how do we get there? How do we get there as soon as we can? How do we get there in the best shape we can? And I've suggested some ways to think about it and to do it, and I hope you do, because vital businesses help us remain vital as communities. And there are a lot of people, no matter what you do, depending on you to continue to create impact. So work at it, be there, be open, and let's continue to work together to be healthy, safe, and to get to this next place as soon as we can. That's the point.